Ooh, look at that. For years, I have been wanting to do a RatRod build, and now is finally the time that we're making it happen. For the past couple weeks, we've already been working on it. We've got a frame built, the cab section, but today we're gonna be making the frame and engine a roller. I'm really excited. Let's get into it. All right, we've got parts laying everywhere. We've got frame on the welding table, we've got the cab sitting here, axle, whole shelf of parts. First thing today is we're getting this front axle sorted out, which means I'm putting some good wheels and tires on it, rebuilding the hubs and converting it to disc brakes. Yeah, let's get started. Looks like this spindle is in great shape. So we pulled the first half of the boxes we need off the shelf. Apparently, they don't like using OEM style bearings, so they have this little bearing adapter that you have to slide over it, but it doesn't fit very good. And so we're gonna use some Loctite to tighten it up, because that's what the instructions say to do. That's right, I read them. It's good to me. Nice. Now we just let that sit for a long time.
What is going on here? He's gluing things to metal with red glue instead of the usual with heat, fire.
Is that right? The flat of the nut must be up against the shoulder of the spindle in order. Okay, got it.
This is revolutionary. If you know anything about Rudy, he does not read instructions and typically throws them in the trash. This might take a minute, so we'll get back to you in a minute when this is done. Okay, we're back. We got it all put together. Now we're just tightening it up.
Boom. Doesn't that just scream RatRod?
It does.
Looks good. Looks fantastic. But looks are only half the battle. We'll see if they're a showstopper. Because the brakes, get it? So, we moved the frame off the table because I'm working on another project in the bay right now. Set the frame outside, and I got so carried away with fitting the engine into the frame, I didn't film a single thing about building my motor mounts. Yeah, it's pretty excessive if you ask me, but it's awesome. I love it. So I found a 1/4-inch piece of metal, plate steel, out sitting in the dirt for probably the last 6 years, and it is rusted and pitted, and it just made a really cool, like, hammered look to that plate. So sorry I didn't film how I did that, but they're on. So now that the front engine mounts are attached to the frame and attached to the engine, we got to work on the transmission mount. We're gonna keep it super basic. We've just got a tube that's gonna go across there, and then I want it to bolt and unbolt, so I built these, and we'll just weld one of these ends to the cross member, and the other end, you know, will stay there, and then that mounts there with an extra spacer for height. I think that's gonna work out really nicely. All we gotta do is get this welded up, and then go fit it in the frame and see how we like it, and then we can weld it up there. All right, well, that's straight up overkill. We're gonna have to let that cool for a little bit, then we can throw it in the car.
In the car?
Truck. In the car. You know, like you throw groceries in the back of your car, just like that. Just throw it in. Boom, just like that. Told you I'd just throw it in. That's awesome.
Tomorrow.
All right, so we got the truck sitting approximately where it goes on the frame, and of course the front axle mocked up, and it is looking so good. For a while, I've been hinting that I was gonna do something pretty crazy with specifically the front suspension on this RatRod, and that's exactly what we're gonna be doing. So this, this is part of the suspension arm. It's a mock-up piece. But to better explain how this is gonna fit in our system, I'm gonna go over to the whiteboard. Thank you. Okay, pretend that this is the frame of the truck and you've got your cab.
Oh, very good.
And your bed. Okay, you have your engine. I'm not gonna draw the engine because this is where the things get important. Okay, so we've got our tire up here, okay? And our axle, okay? That's our axle. We need a way to attach it to the frame and also allow suspension travel to move when you go over a bump, but also our lift control. So I live in southern Utah, and having a low rider here is probably the death of them. And you'll rip bumpers off and scrape the ground everywhere you go. You won't even be able to make it out of the Wendy's parking lot. So that's no good. So I've come up with a system that will allow me to get way further off the ground than I need to and possibly get into some off-road situations. So that's pretty cool. So most people use airbags in like a lift management system. I'm gonna be using hydraulic rams. Not hydraulic suspension like that, different hydraulic suspension. Instead, what I'm gonna be doing is I'm going to have a pivot off the frame here to an arm that attaches to the top of the axle here like that. And then off of this is gonna be 90 degrees to another point, okay? So these are attached as one. And then I'll have another link to the bottom of the axle underneath, okay? That's how I'm gonna keep my axle located and where it needs to go. So from there, I'm actually gonna have another arm come up to my coilover. So my coilover looks like this, and it's mounted on its side like that. So that means when this axle goes up, it's going to cam that piece over to compress my spring. So in this setup, I still have nothing stopping it from just wanting to bottom out and just smash into the cabin stuff. So I'll be adding to the system a hydraulic ram. And I'm gonna pin it right there, and it's gonna go down, and it's gonna pin to the frame again, and I'll have it right here. So as I control this hydraulic ram, it'll push or pull this coilover, allowing the front axle to droop or go up. You follow? Does it make sense? Did I explain it good?
Yes.
So now all we gotta do is make this arm look a lot more attractive. So I've taken this pattern, drawn out a couple designs on here, and you can see somewhere in there is the basic outline that I'm going for. And then we come over here to my computer. And get that shape cut out on our plasma table. Crazy, huh? We live in the future. All right, so this is the shape of it, and I'm not happy with it. Do you see the problem? I see the problem. The problem is this edge down here. It's way too small. I'll be welding a bushing in there that'll have my pivot bolt bolted through it, but it's just not enough meat there to really feel like I can support the whole car off of this point clear over here, leveraging that. So we're gonna go back to the drawing board, literally. We're gonna beef up that section. We're also gonna beef up that section up there. And then I have some pretty exciting plans for this bottom section. So we'll see you when we get that fixed. So here is the revised cutout, and I've already boxed it. Don't mind the Sharpie marks, that's future project. So this allows you to put a bung in the end of it for our adjustable heim joint. And that's gonna let us adjust caster really easy, as well as just get us a nice ride. You know what I mean? That looks really good. And I kind of wonder how well it matches our design here. Wow. So the only thing left is to get this bung welded in, get all the seams welded up, and get them ground and looking polished. I also left a big gap on the edges, and that's so when I grind the weld smooth, there's still more than enough weld holding it, because I don't want these to come apart. You know what I mean? When I'm driving on the road, if one of these snapped, that'd be bad news. But that's not gonna happen. Unless I hit a cow.
2 hours later.
All right, I just spent the last 2 hours welding these up and also grinding them flush, getting that bung welded in. So there you go. These are actually a pretty cool piece. I greatly enjoy them. And the reason they needed to look nice is because they go right over here. So that gets a pivot mount built right there. So when it's fully lowered like this is kind of the stance that it's going to be. But then as you lift the vehicle, this is going to cantilever down. Just looks so cool. Most of the time I have a super big time crunch, so it's really nice to be able to slow down and actually make some quality pieces that I'm proud of. All right, so our cantilever arms, I didn't feel as though they were strong enough with just the 8th wall, so we put some more plates on them. They look pretty good. I decided to practice my TIG welding. I am not a good TIG welder, but for what this thing needs to do, these are gonna be just fine. So now we gotta get these mounted to the frame and get this side mounted to the axle. So this is what I've got so far. We have this mount coming off the frame. I did the same style as our motor mounts here, and gonna have to do some more stuff to it. But that goes like this essentially. So after we get this mount welded onto the frame and stuff, and actually get this arm put in here properly and greased up so it can pivot, we can get that end of the arm mounted to our axle. This link, done. This link is next. So since my frame comes in at an angle in the front here, it's been very difficult to get these arms to also come off the frame parallel, because if they come in angled, that means when I go through my suspension travel cycle, they're gonna bind up really hard. So it's super, super, super important that when I get them set up, they perfectly are in line, because if they're like this, it'll want to get wider and narrower as it cycles, and that's no good. But I think I've got it to a point now where we can weld it on. I'm actually really happy with it too. That's rare that I'm really happy with it. So what you're looking at is actually almost right at you. That looks so cool. Okay, let's weld her up.
Well, what do you think?
I like them. So extra, you know what I mean? With our suspension arms on, our upper links, we needed to attach them to the axle. So this was originally a leaf sprung axle, which means it's got these like perch pads on it that bolted the leaf springs to it. And we're just gonna bolt our like link arms to that. We just cut out a plate, and then I'll actually cut out another plate to go on the bottom, and then we'll just sandwich the whole axle. And I think it'll look really cool and work just fine. This is a front axle, so it's not gonna like see a whole lot of hard work. Not like a off-road machine or anything like that. This is turning out really, really cool. That being said, we need to build the lower links. Those are what's going to locate the axle left and right. So that means they need to be triangulated. So with straight uppers and triangulated lowers, that's totally reasonable. That's like super common way to set up axles and links and stuff. We're doing a basic 4-link here. No tricks or gimmicks.
Nothing crazy. You know, just normal stuff.
So I guess we need to get our lower links figured out, get some mounts built, and then I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna do for those. So I found some heim joints in my dad's stuff, and I believe these are left over from a failed project on the spud truck. These are perfectly good heim joints, so I'm just gonna cut the bungs out and add them to the piece of steel that I need. Easy, right? Easy. Thanks, Dad. All right, frame side link mount's done, and now we just need to weld it to the frame.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's going right there. That's cute. All right, so we got our lower link mount on, and we've got it pointed and angled perfectly in line, and we're ready for that. The only issue is I don't like the straight bar because that's where my radiator's going. I need my radiator to be as close to the ground as possible. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put a bend in this. So it's not ideal to put a bend in your link, but it's also not the end of the world. I mean, I see bent links daily on some hardcore off-road Jeeps. So if we just do that like that, we're at full droop right now, so that arm is like parallel to the ground, which kind of looks cool. But it also gives us about 2 more inches to put the radiator down. Actually, a little more, like 3 inches. See that? So we're using quarter wall tubing for these lower links. It's overkill for link material on this project, but it's perfect for if you want to put a bend in a link and have it be strong enough still. So we just need to bend up this one and then weld the bungs in, get them threaded in, and then we should be able to cycle the suspension and see how well we did do. Yeah, cool, right? There we go.
Nice.
Boom. Look at all this real estate. The only thing we have to put in there is a grill and a radiator. You ready to cycle this suspension? Let's see how it goes. Wow. That is so cool. We definitely have some adjusting and fine tuning to do, but that is pretty fantastic. Oh man, this looks awesome. Very cool.
Tomorrow for sure.
All right, I made a huge mistake when it comes to the front suspension on my RatRod. And that's because all of the rules that I was following when designing it and building it in my head only apply to a rear axle pretty much. So imagine you have the pinion of your rear axle and a double cardan joint off the transfer case or the back of the transmission or something. You want that pinion to stay pointed at the transmission through travel. And that's exactly how I built the front suspension. Now the issue with that is there's no pinion, and when the suspension actually cycles, I change caster a lot. And that's that angle. So on a setup like this, I don't want that to change at all. So I needed to build a parallel 4-link arm setup, and I ended up not doing that. I ended up doing like a semi-triangulated 4-link with not parallel arms, causing me a massive headache. Things are not looking good. But I do have a solution. I've been looking at it all day long trying to figure out what I'm gonna do. And it has to do with relocating my lower mounts there. So I need to relocate that hole and move it all the way up to there and shorten my link arm to be that long. So in doing that, it actually minimizes all of the rolling that happens in the axle and keeps it within, say, 3 degrees of 18 inches of travel, which is pretty good. Because right now it's got 12 whole degrees that it rolls and rotates, which is bad. So all we need to do is get new tabs put in there, get the arms shortened up, bolt them together, and test our suspension travel one more time before we give it the stamp of approval. Also, you'll have to forgive me. I'm kind of losing my voice a little bit. In the last 5 minutes, the weather has taken a turn for the worse, and it has started raining. It has since stopped raining, but who knows? It might start raining again. But anyway, I've got some exciting news. We've got our link mount extensions on there. We only have one link in there to kind of test it, but this is it. Rhett, show us it on the lift. Wow, that's pretty high, Rhett.
I wanted to make sure I did the full effect of it.
Yeah, that's the full effect. It's pretty nifty.
Isn't it gonna be able to go that high?
It might. I think I'm gonna max it out right there.
That'll get you on a lot of dirt roads.
Oh yeah, that'll get you up the sand dunes. So what did we do today? We got disc brakes put on our axle. We've got these upper arms built. That was a lot of work. We got the lower arms built. We fixed some of my miscalculations, which totally my fault, by the way. But I am super stoked with how the front of this car is looking. Engine is mounted in the frame, but we need to get the cab mounted, probably start working on the firewall and floor, and then engine mods. We got some good stuff coming for the engine mods. My favorite part about this project is I'm trying to mix a little bit of old school in with a little bit of new school, and I think it's turning out.
It's working. It's almost like we did it intentionally.
All right, so we added these bars here so that we could go down, and hopefully it holds everything up. Go ahead and go down. And it's broken. Oh, wow, moment of truth. All right.
Give her a little jump on it, see if it stays up.
Good enough.
Nice, this is awesome.
Ooh, look how shiny that looks after. That looks so cool.
Oh, man.
That suspension looks crazy.
Ooh, look at that.
It looks so insane. I don't even know. I'm liking the proportions so much, I almost don't want to chop it anymore. But it
needs to be chopped.
the proportions just look so good though.
Okay, seeing the cab now, sitting on the frame and the proportions of it and everything, do you think the top needs to be chopped just a little bit? Because I think like a 2.5, 3 inch chop, nothing crazy. I think that would really make this rig just that much better. Go the extra mile, you know what I'm saying? I'm going the distance. I'm going for speed. He's all alone in time of need. All right. Well, this is the end of the video. Thanks for watching. Whew. I couldn't wait. I had to test the manifold. Goodness gracious. Oh my God. Would you look at that?
That's pretty intense.
I like it.